So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm vlogging, I guess, apparently. Am I vlogging? Apparently. I've got the camera on and I'm filming, so apparently I'm vlogging. Yeah, I'm not the greatest at vlogging. So we won't be doing vlogs every day. I'm just going to be vlogging when I come up with something. And what am I doing today? Well, I ran out of veggie stock. And in our house, we like our veggie stock to be tomato based. So, since I ran out of veggie stock, I pulled out the other 1.5 bushels of my tomatoes that I grew this summer. These are all my Amish tomato paste and my big boys that I grew. So I pulled them out. I'm skinning them. I'm making veggie stock and stewed tomatoes. Now, I already filmed a video on how I make stewed tomatoes, and I made those ones out of my cherry tomatoes. And when I'm using my cherry tomatoes, I don't peel them. But when I'm doing these big Amish tomato pastes, or the, let me see if I got a big boy. Yep. Or I'm doing a big boy. This is a little big boy. Ha ha ha. Big boy, that's a little one. Anyways, when I'm making stewed tomatoes out of my big tomatoes, I skin them. And a lot of times, the skin also has meat on it when you pull it off, especially if you do it when it's frozen. And I always cut the tops and the bottoms off the tomatoes because there's a bunch of meat in there. And make my veggie stock out of that. And then I always freeze vegetables, certain vegetables out of the garden in the summer, certain scraps, parts of vegetables all throughout the winter, and I freeze them all in my freezer. And then when it's time for me to make veggie stock, I pull out my tomatoes, skin them, add a bunch of vegetables into there, and boil it all up and make veggie stock. Now, my veggie stock is also a big part of the reason why I freeze herbs. Here, let me see if I can get you up and in. You see all those herbs in there? Those are my frozen herbs you guys saw me freeze this summer. I use them for my veggie stock. That's one of the ways I use them anyways. And they're absolutely wonderful in there. So, that's what I'm doing. I'm blogging, I'm filming. Oh, I just got done filming. I have filmed it like 4 or 5 different times, my video about my accident. And I was never comfortable. Every time I filmed it, I didn't like how it turned out. And then my husband suggested I just film my video while I'm doing something in my kitchen and talk about it. And so that's what I did. I just got done filming my video on my accident. It turned out what I feel was the best I have, filmed. And so that will be out in a few days. It'll probably be out before this. I just shot tomato in my face. The accident video will probably be out before this blog video is. But, yeah. Oh, I also filmed a video asking for questions for a Q&A. That video will probably also be out before this blog video is. But, yeah. It's another thing I did. So, since I just got done filming and I'm making some stewed tomatoes, I thought I would throw on my camera and film a vlog clip. So, here we are. Anyways, well, I'm going to turn this off because I have a dog who's asking to come back in the house. And I need to go wash my hands, let the dog in, and then do more stuff and let a few more of these tomatoes defrost a little bit, and then I'll be back to film more vlog. Hey guys, I'm back. It's much later in the day. You might be able to tell by the light coming through the curtain. So I got all my stewed tomato, or all my tomato skins cut off. I'm still in the middle of pressure cooking the veggie stock, but the stewed tomatoes cooked down. So then I just take and get all my stewed tomatoes in a jar. This is what I do on a regular basis. I would have to say I can something 4 to 5 days a week. Sometimes, depending upon the time of year, I'm canning 7 days a week, multiple things in a single day. I love it. I love my job. I love being a mom. I love being at home. I love giving my attention to my children. I love being able to do for them what they need when they need it. I love knowing I grew these tomatoes. I love knowing I grew these herbs. I love knowing that the onions and peppers that are in here came from Thrive Life, a company I can trust. And I know everything that's in here, everything that's going in the jar, my hand has been involved in it. And I know that this will be for the health of my family and my children. We love tomato products in our house. Tomato products are full of vitamin C, and living here in the great, wonderful, frozen north, I mean, I'm not sure just how many out there know exactly where in the frozen north we live, but we are barely an hour from the Canadian border straight north. So, yeah, literally the frozen tundra. So, with the sun going away for large quantities of the year, and some days we get less than 8 hours of sun in a day, 8 full hours of sun in a day. So you want to increase your vitamin C intake so that during the hours you do get sunlight, your body has a chance to absorb as much vitamin C as it can. Hence, tomato products. Hence why I have been working so hard to perfect growing tomatoes. And I think I did it with this last growing season. Now, I didn't produce nearly as many tomatoes as I wanted, but I did learn that tomatoes grow amazing, absolutely amazing, in either those big, giant, until we have property and land and I can do a full-on back to Eden garden beds, or shade carpet and permaculture chickens, crossing Justin roads and living tradition homesteads, and get my back to Eden garden going. I'll have to grow in fish tanks and big pots. And I think I did a great job growing what I did grow. I got 3 bushels of tomatoes. My first round of stewed tomatoes I think was like 12 or 14 quarts. And I just did 2, 4, 6, 7 I've probably got 2 more quarts in here, so 7, 8, 9 quarts. Maybe 10 more quarts, so maybe a total of 10 quarts. So yeah, I've gotten about 25-30 quarts of stewed tomatoes out of my gardens this year. Very happy. Now, I could have gotten more if I had just done what I had done for my cherry tomatoes, which was just slice them and throw them in, not worry about skinning or anything like that. But because I wanted veggie stock, I cut off the tops and bottoms of my tomatoes and then took off all the skin. So I probably would have gotten like another 2 or 3 more quarts of stewed tomatoes if I had used everything, but I wanted veggie stock. Well guys, there's me ranting for a little bit longer. I'm gonna finish doing this and I'll be back. Hello guys. So it's the next day and I'm doing the last round of my veggie stock and stewed tomatoes. This is just plain water because I didn't have a full canner. And I wanted to give some new canners a particular view. When you do stewed tomatoes, this is an extremely common occurrence. It happens 99 out of 100 times. The water of the tomatoes and the meat of the tomatoes separate. How do you make it look like that again and like they're not separated? Well, as it slowly starts to cool, and once you can actually pick it up and touch it, now not completely cooled, you still want it to be quite warm, but touchable, so you can hold it. About every 5 to 10 minutes from the time that you can touch it, you just pick it up and shake it back and forth just like that. Boom, 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 for 10-15 times so that you get it all mixed back up in there. And by the time it completely cools to room temperature, it will have all I don't know what the word would be, reformulated back into actual stewed tomatoes instead of separated juice and tomatoes. Now you want to make sure you do this and you don't leave it like this, because this leaves chance for air pockets up here in the meat and can lead to a higher chance of botulism. Another one is you don't want to pick it up and start doing that shaking until the lid has sealed itself. So sealed itself and has cooled enough that you can actually start picking it up. You want to pick it up every 5 to 10 to 15 minutes and just give it 10 or 15 back and forth until the jar is completely room temperature, and boom. Then you have that less of a chance of botulism. As long as you canned it right, you processed it right, you put it through the right amount of time, you won't have to deal with issues. If you can see, you see air bubbling up and popping up here. That is not trapped air that could get us sick. That is literally bubbling water from the boiling process and being brought up to proper temperature, and bubbles form in boiling water, and boom. So if it's bubbling like this right after you pull it out, that's a good sign that you've processed it properly. And then you just shake it up and it will turn right back into stewed tomatoes. Alright guys, we'll be back for more. Hey guys, I'm back. So I've actually filmed a bunch of other stuff besides the stuff that you saw at the beginning of this vlog. But in general, I want to keep my vlogs short. I enjoy those short vlogs. I've had positive feedback on the little short vlogs. And I'd prefer to keep my longer things to more of the chats and conversations and talking. So, anyways, what I did want to show you was the stew. The stew. Stewed tomatoes. I did the shaking of them. They're all stirred up, they're all mixed up, they're all settled. They look like normal stewed tomatoes again. There's all the beautiful veggie stock I got. Look at how beautiful and red that is. And then at the bottom is all the cauliflower and broccoli, and there was shredded zucchini, cucumbers, carrots, garlic, peas, peppers, onions, lots and lots and lots of tomato skins. Plus I put about 9 to 10 pounds, and that was about 8.5 to 9 pounds of just straight tomatoes into the veggie stock. The non-perfect tomatoes is what I put in the veggie stock, and then all the perfect tomatoes went in my stewed tomatoes. So I ended up with, oh, I love it. I love doing tomato veggie stock. Some people don't like tomato veggie stock because then they have to use tomato as a base, and they don't always like to have tomato for base. But in our house, with us living in the frozen north up here, we consume a lot of tomatoes. We consume a lot of apples. We consume a lot of citrus fruit. We consume a lot of fruits and vegetables that have high vitamin C content in them, so that during the few hours of sunlight a day that we do get, our body can absorb as much vitamin C as possible, because your body needs sunlight in order to absorb vitamin C. The sun doesn't give you vitamin D, and the sun doesn't aid in the sun doesn't give you vitamin D, and it doesn't quote unquote aid in vitamin C. What the sun does is it helps your body absorb that sunlight. I'm not exactly 100% sure how that process works, but I do know that in order to absorb vitamin C and vitamin D properly, you have to get sunlight. And that's not just sleeping in the sun. That's your eyes open and absorbing sunlight through your eyeballs for a certain number of hours a day. So since we live in the frozen north, we don't get that much sunlight. I mean, there's times of year up here where we get 6, maybe 6.5 hours of full sunlight during the day. So we need to have the ability to intake, ingest, and be able to absorb as much vitamin C as possible. So that's the reason why I do veggie stock as tomato stock. So, alright. Well, I said I was trying to keep all this short because I don't want to make long vlogs, but this ended up being a long vlog. So I'm not quite sure if I'm going to make this a vlog so much as a channel conversation. Me conversating with you about all kinds of different things, tips, tricks, ideas. I don't know, give me an idea of maybe instead of these being vlogs, maybe I should start my own. And I don't like the whole pantry chit chat or sit downs. And I called my one video about my accident story time, and I don't like that. I'm thinking, and what do you guys think? How about kitchen conversations? I like that idea. Kitchen conversations. We'll see. Alright guys, we'll see you in the next one. Talk to you in the next one. Have me going off and ranting about all kinds of weird stuff in the next one. Alright guys, we'll talk to you later. And remember, stay positive. Bye.